Feedback is information students and teachers share during learning so that students can close the gap between their current level of performance and the learning goals. While feedback is a crucial component of the learning process, not all feedback helps learners. The way teachers provide feedback determines how effective it is and whether students can use it to improve. In fact, assessment feedback can actually have a negative impact, particularly on low-achieving students who are led to believe that they lack ability and so are not able to learn. The structure, focus, and amount of feedback are all factors that determine whether the feedback will support learning. When telling students what you have observed about their learning, structure your comments to identify what was done well.
An excellent thing that you did was to identify a lot of details about your customer.
Identifying what students have done well first sets a positive tone. However, the strengths you highlight must match the criteria for success and show how well the student is learning.
And I really like starting with highlighting all the things they've done well, even if something is what we would consider to be not a successful piece of work. Even if you can highlight a few things that they did well, it just gives them encouragement.
What needs improvement?
Connect the details that you have in this to the type of restaurant, the atmosphere of your restaurant.
And how to improve.
First, we want to take out the details that don't really connect to what your restaurant offers or what your restaurant is about.
Feedback can also be posed as a question, requiring students to think about their learning and to consider next steps.
So what do you think we could take out of this silhouette to make it more focused to your restaurant?
All feedback should relate to the learning goals and the success criteria which have been shared and clarified with the student at the outset of learning. The feedback provided in this instance focuses on the task, to profile the audience for a media piece, not on the learner. All of the teacher's feedback is related to the student's learning demonstrated by her work, rather than commenting on the student's behaviors or personal attributes. This kind of descriptive feedback is very different from evaluative feedback. Descriptive feedback is anecdotal and provides students detailed, precise information about their progress toward their learning goal and suggestions for next steps in learning. Evaluative feedback consists of a judgment about the learning and is communicated as a grade, a mark, or symbol.
So how have your students reacted to the change in assessment strategy?
Well, initially, a few of them couldn't really understand why I wouldn't be giving marks anymore and how they could possibly even have any gauge of how they were doing if there was no mark. But you're spending more time with them providing feedback, and I think that they understand and they are realizing that that's more useful to them than an actual grade on the paper that they didn't really necessarily understand anyway.
We want to avoid overwhelming students by addressing all of their learning needs at once. Prioritize your comments by commenting on the aspects of student learning needing immediate attention. Here, the teacher points out one thing the student has done well.
Okay. Well, let's start with the things that you've done really well here, okay? And I like that you've included the formula at the beginning.
And provides two suggestions for improvement.
Okay. The only thing I would suggest is telling me that this is volume that you're calculating, okay? So volume equals the area of the base multiplied by the height, okay? Now with your conclusion here at the end, you got the right answer. Yes, they do have two different volumes, but you really need to communicate that to me with your words that you understand. I really want you to expand upon what part of the formula is impacting the volume the most. And I'll follow up with you in a couple of days.
A viewer's guide has been developed to enhance your professional learning. Please refer to the guide for more detailed information about planning for effective feedback, research references, and access to a variety of learning activities.